So now we come to Surah Nisa 4:25. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ مِنْكُمْ طَوْلًا أَنْ يَنْكِحَ الْمُحْصَنَاتِ الْمُؤْمِنَاتِ فَمِمَّا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ مِنْ فَتَيَاتِكُمُ الْمُؤْمِنَاتِ وَاللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ بِإِيمَانِكُمْ بَعْضُكُمْ مِنْ بَعْضٍ فَانْكِحُوهُنَّ بِإِذْنِ أَهْلِهِنَّ وَآتُوهُنَّ أُجُورَهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ مُحْصَنَاتٍ غَيْرَ مُسَافِحَاتٍ وَلَا مُتَّخِذَاتِ أَخْدَانٍ فَإِذَا أُحْصِنَّ فَإِنْ أَتَيْنَ بِفَاحِشَةٍ فَعَلَيْهِنَّ نِصْفُ مَا عَلَى الْمُحْصَنَاتِ مِنَ الْعَذَابِ ذَلِكَ لِمَنْ خَشِيَ الْعَنَتَ مِنْكُمْ وَأَنْ تَصْبِرُوا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ وَاللَّهُ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. And from you who did not have the capability in a long duration of life to marry a fortified, married, believing woman, then you marry young believing girls from what your right possesses. And Allah knows more with your belief. Some of you are from some. Then marry them with the permission of their family and give them their wages with acknowledgement, recognition to those women who are fortifying, other than those to whore commit prostitution. And they are not to be of those who take confidants, intimate friends. So when they are being fortified, then when they come with obscenity, the punishment is half on them to whatever is over the fortified married woman. That is for those who fear hardship from you, and that you may have patience. It is better for you, and Allah is forgiving, merciful. Now, amazing thing is, if I read a small phrase of this ayah, 2 lines, and you listen. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ مِنْكُمْ طَوْلًا أَنْ يَنْكِحَ الْمُحْصَنَاتِ الْمُؤْمِنَاتِ. In the Arabic, it's very clearly, this word tawlan, tawil. You understand tawil? What do you mean by tawil? Long. Is not translated by any person in the whole I have come across. Tawlan. Except myself. You know, because in their mind, muhsanat are non-married women also. You understand what I'm saying? In their mind, that muhsanat are those, I am telling you, muhsanat are those women who are, when they get married, they become fortified. With their parents, they are not fortified. Because men will keep on giving proposals. So that means they are not fortified. And that is why they are forbidden to marry. So now they get confused in this ayah, because Allah says, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ مِنْكُمْ طَوْلًا أَنْ يَنْكِحَ الْمُحْصَنَاتِ الْمُؤْمِنَاتِ. So, and from you who did not have the capability in a long duration of life to marry a fortified believing woman. How can you marry a fortified believing woman? How? Yeah, I explained to you before. Okay? So that means this condition may not arrive in our lives. No, it is not necessary that this condition arrives. It may not arrive. And even if I don't have that much amount of money to give the husband who's been spending 5-6 years and she is already a fortified woman. Normally men like to marry non-married woman. So Allah is also saying, and from you who did not have the capability in a long duration life, mean tawlan, to marry a fortified married believing woman that come to you in migrating, then what you do? فَمِمَّا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ مِنْ فَتَيَاتِكُمُ الْمُؤْمِنَاتِ. Then you marry young girls, non-married girls. Young girls from the right whom the right hand possesses. Then marry young believing girls from your right possesses. So if there are already, I have purchased women who are not married, or there are people who have got girls who are not married in his possession, So I can marry young girls, not the fortified woman who came in migrant belief. This young girls should be also a believer. So it says you can marry young believing girls from your right possession, and Allah's more with your belief, meaning men's belief. If you are a believer, then you can marry and purchase who already have got some girls with him, and they are young girls, not married, you can marry them. Allah more knows your belief. Some of you are from some, then marry them with the permission of their family. Family means who are taking guard of those young girls. And now you are going to purchase them. This is purchase going. He will say, I have been spending this young girl, I have grown her up, she's under my possession, she's not my wife, she's under protection. Malakat, right possessions are not always married. There are girls who are not married with you, and there are girls in the right possession who are not married. So now Allah says, if you cannot marry a married muhsanat woman, so you marry young girls from your right possesses. Allah is more. Then marry with them permission of their family, people, and give them their wages. After you marry, you give them their wages. First you give them from the permission of their family, because they are the protectors, the guardian of that girls, with acknowledgement and recognition. To those women, and you are marrying to who? To those women who are fortifying themselves or marrying, because these girls also, remember, when you are marrying them, they should know they have to be fortified. That means they will be under my fort. They will be fortified. Other than those who commit prostitution. If they are those girls from the right position, in the position of somebody, and she is not in this kind of committing prostitution, I will not marry them. I will marry those girls who want to fortify. And they are not of those who take confident, intimate friends. These girls who I intend to marry should not be taking confidence, intimate friends, these girls. And they are not committing whore or prostitution, I cannot marry them. I will marry those girls who want to fortify. And if they commit obscenity, fahisha, the punishment is half on them to whatever is over the fortified married woman. Fortified woman, and now she has become fortified now. Who was fortified before? Whom I did not purchase. Like all these husband and wife are, if these women are not being purchased by me, they are your fortified woman. Muhsanat, believing woman, fortified. So for them is the punishment is full, and for these from the right hand possesses, if you marry the young girls and if they commit obscenity, fahisha, the punishment is half. What is the punishment on the woman who is a fortified woman directly, not being purchased by any person? So what is the punishment? We will read further. And that is for those who fear hardship from you, and that you may have patience. It is better for you. Allah is forgiving, merciful. Now hardship, it applies to the circumstances in which excessive painful effort of some kind is required. Meaning after the girl whom my right hand possesses, I married her, I fortified her, and she commits adultery and fornication with another person, extramarital affair, the punishment is half. What is the full? I will tell you. But at the further I am reading this, that you may have patience and you will have hardship. You will not dislike her. Okay, after all, I purchased her, and now she was a young girl, I fortified her, she has committed an act. So now what is the punishment of those girls who are muhsanat from before? So Nisa 4 and Ayah 15. وَاللَّاتِي يَأْتِينَ الْفَاحِشَةَ مِنْ نِسَائِكُمْ فَاسْتَشْهِدُوا عَلَيْهِنَّ عَرْبَةً مِنْكُمْ فَإِنْ شَهِدُوا فَأَمْسِكُوهُنَّ فِي الْبُيُوتِ حَتَّى يَتَوَفَّاهُنَّ الْمَوْتُ أَوْ يَجْعَلَ اللَّهُ لَهُنَّ سَبِيلًا. And those from your women who comes with obscenity, then seek 4 witnesses from you on them. Then if they bear witness, so hold them in the houses until death is complete on them, or Allah makes or set a way of guidance for them. Now, a muhsanat meaning a man, believing man, gets married to a believing woman. No purchasing involved. Directly, like we all have married like this. So this woman is a fortified, married, believing woman. If she commits a fahisha, look, they are coming, and those from your woman who comes with fahisha. So for detaining, you have to take 4 witnesses. Look, it says, first tajidu alayhinna arbatan minkum. You have to take 4 witnesses, not of the act. They have already committing and confessing that they have committed acts, so you have to take 4 witnesses, witnesses of shutting them down in the house. So it says, فَإِن شَهِدُوا, if they were witness, فَامْسِكُنَّ فِي الْبُيُوتِ, then you hold them in the houses. If they don't bear witness, what you do? That is what written, أَوْ يَجَلَ اللَّهُ لَهُنَّ سَبِيلًا, or Allah will make for them a way. Some women, married women, muhsanat, first we should know the punishment of muhsanat woman directly. Not from ma malakat, she become a muhsan, guarded, fortified. For that woman, the punishment is that you lock them, you confine them in the houses, not lock, sorry, confine them in the houses for their lives. But how? You have to take 4 witnesses. You have to take 4 witnesses. Okay? While detaining them. So if they bear witness, so detain them in the house until death comes complete on them. And if they didn't, so Allah says, or أَوْ يَجْعَلَ اللَّهُ سَبِيلًا, or Allah will make a set away for those women. How? If they didn't bear witness, they have already committed fahisha, and these men are saying, believers say, no, we don't become a part of this. That's your matter, you solve it. Suppose, I'm just giving an example. So now Allah says what happens, what they do. Surah Al-Imran 3 and 135. وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا فَعَلُوا فَاحِشَةً أَوْ ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ ذَكَرُوا اللَّهَ فَاسْتَغْفَرُوا لِذُنُوبِهِمْ وَمَنْ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ وَلَمْ يُصِرُّوا عَلَى مَا فَعَلُوا وَهُمْ يَعْلَمُونَ. And those, when they commit obscenity or oppress their souls, then they remember Allah. They remember Allah, then they see forgiveness of their guilt, sins. And who can forgive guilt, sins except Allah? And they do not persist over what they did, and they know it. So if these witnesses backed off, the husband is going to do what? He is not going to kill her. He will say, okay, ask for forgiveness from Allah. And you will not repeat it. You understand what I am talking? It is there, very clear. That it is not to kill her. You have to lock or you have to confine in the houses when they bear witness and people back off. You know, he's your wife, she's your wife. Why? It's your personal matter, man. You do what you, I don't want to get involved in this. So what Allah says, or Allah finds a way for them, then this is the way. But this is for the believing muhsanat from the beginning. She did not came from the what my right hand possesses. And from what my right hand possesses, does this commit this obscenity after being muhsan, then the punishment is half. Half of what? No, half of the punishment we are talking. Sorry? Punishment. That's what discussing. Umar Khair. Life, first is the life. You have, no, hold on. For the life, you have to confine in the houses. What would be the half? Half detention, what? Now, what would be the half? You see, one is the life detention of a muhsanat woman. The half would be what? What is, you know, in every country there is an average rate of death, average. And from that average, you can deduce the half. That's not a big deal. In every country, there is different average rate age. And from that culture and environment, you can make it a half. And if she asks for forgiveness, then it is nullified. The ayat I rehearsed in Al-Imran 3:135. So when Allah forgives, they cannot commit again. That is the acceptance of forgiveness of Allah. You want to find out, did Allah forgive you or not? You know, every night, you say they make it a day compartment. You know, generally people say, make it a day compartment. In the daytime, when you go to sleep, before going to bed, you should seek forgiveness. Oh Allah, whatever did I wrong in the daytime, whatever. I don't know what I did. I know what I did, but whatever I did wrong, I say astaghfirullah. I don't know myself. Allah Ta'ala, whatever I did wrong, I forgive. The next day I did again. And Allah said, I don't know whatever I did wrong, please forgive me. And I die. Allah will not forgive you. So if you want to know that Allah has forgiven you, believe me, you will not commit that act again. Because He's accepted your forgiveness. When Allah accepts, you cannot commit again. When He has not accepted, you keep on doing it. So now to go further, Surah an-nur 24 and ayah 33. وَلْيَسْتَعْفِفِ الَّذِينَ لَا يَجِدُونَ نِكَاحًا حَتَّى يُغْنِيَهُمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ وَالَّذِينَ يَبْتَغُونَ الْكِتَابَ مِمَّا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ فَكَاتِبُهُمْ إِنْ عَلِمْتُمْ فِيهِمْ خَيْرًا وَآتُهُمْ مِمَّا لِلَّهِ الَّذِي آتَاكُمْ وَلَا تُكْرِهُوا فَتَيَاتِكُمْ عَلَى الْبِغَاءِ إِنْ أَرَدْنَا تَحَصُّنًا لِتَبْتَغُوا عَرَضَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَمَنْ يُكْرِهُنَّ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ مِنْ بَعْدِ إِكْرَاهِهِنَّ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. And those who do not find marriage should be chaste. That is, not to involve in unlawful sexual relationship until Allah enriches them from His bounty, and from those whom your right possesses, who seeks the book. So write, that is the marriage contract, to them if you find any betterment in them, and give them from the wealth of Allah that He gave you. And you do not compel your young girls who are in your possession to commit a wrong act or prostitution if they intend to be fortified, and that you seek the width of this worldly life. And whosoever compels these young girls to commit wrong act or prostitution, then surely Allah is forgiving, merciful, from after their having been compelled to commit wrong act or prostitution. Now in this ayah, there are 2-3 points we have to gather. First is that a person believing man should have enough wealth, because when he intends to get married, he has to take the responsibility of the wife. And if he doesn't have that wealth, then Allah says to those people, he has to refrain. Those who do not find marriage should be chaste. That doesn't mean they should indulge in sexual activity. They should be chaste until Allah enriches them. So not even marrying one, forget about 2s and 3s and 4. Remember, this is very important for any person who engages in marriage. He must know that he can provide her the comfort and the shelter, because it is his duty to take care of the woman. So Allah says, and those who do not find marriage should be chaste until Allah enriches them from His bounty, and from those whom your right possesses. Now if a person, like suppose I have got some women, girls, they are under my possession, whom your right possesses, who seeks the book, who wants to understand the book, wants to become believer, Or if they intend to have a contract, get married, so write to them the marriage contract. And if you find any betterment in them, give them from the wealth of Allah that He gave you. So why are you giving the wealth? So that you can get married to them, or you let them get married to another person. But you do not compel young girls who are under your protection, or you are their malakat imanukum, they are your right to say. Do not compel your young girls to coming wrong act, prostitution. If they intend to be fortified, they want to be fortified to the person, to you or to other person. And you are forced because you have so many girls with you, under your protection, you have purchased them, you are giving protection, you can do that. But you cannot commit them to do wrong act if they want to be fortified, meaning they want to chase, they want to guard or fortify their strength and surroundings to one person. And that you seek width of this worldly life, that you want to gain money out of them by using them to be prostitution. And whosoever compels them, those young girls whom your right possesses, to commit wrong act or prostitution, then surely Allah is forgiving, merciful. After their being compelled. For the person who is forcing them to do wrong act, he will be punished. But those girls who are forced to do wrong act, Allah will forgive them. And now further, you see the contract. Normally in marriage ceremonies there is a contract. And the contract in the Quran is written in Surah al-Baqarah 2 and ayah 282. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu idha tadayantum bidainin ila ajalin musamma faktubuh wastashhidu shahidaini min rijalikum fa in lam yakuna rajulaini farajulun wa imratan mimman tardawna min ash-shuhada an tadilla ihdahuma fatudhakkir ihdahuma al-ukhra. O you believe, when you attain or reach a judgment among each other with a judgment towards a fixed period of time, then write it down and take 2 witnesses from your men. Then if there are no 2 men, then take 1 man and 2 women from the witnesses whom you are pleased. And if one of the 2 women stays, then other reminds her. Now this is a very big ayat in the Quran. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:282 is the largest verse in the Quran. I have taken 2 small portions to establish one point. Before I read, it says that that it can who seeks the book, so write the marriage contract to them. You see, in the world, whenever we are getting married, there is a contract. Marriage ceremony takes place. We take witnesses. Don't we? A lawyer comes and a witnesses. So in the Quran, it is not defining especially a marriage contract. It is defining any contract for a period of time. You come to a judgment, you write it down, which for a period of time. So you believe when you attain or reach a judgment among each other with a judgment towards a fixed period of time, then write it down. Any time, any written document should be, anything should be written down if it's taking a period of time. It's a house rent or a owner and a ownership transfer. So you see the world, that there's a document involved. Similarly, when we get married or we are living in any country, so you see, you must understand that legally, I can get married to any woman with bringing 4 or 5 people here or 10 people or whatever the amount of people, and get married to a woman. But would I be legal in Pakistan? So I have to have a written document. And that written document has to be registered in Pakistan. So we are living in a country, so you have to abide the laws of the country as well. If there is a law that comes in between the law of a country, then you follow the ayahs in a manner that you can fulfill the Allah's law. So written documents registered in a particular country, whether it's registered in Pakistan or registered in America or registered in Canada or Europe or Australia, anywhere you must have fulfilled the condition of the country to establish that you are legally married. So that is a written contract. Now there are relations whom we are allowed to marry. Surah Ahzab 33 and ayah 50. Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu inna ahlalna laka azwajaka allati atayta ujurahunna أجورهن وما ملكت يمينك مما أفاء الله عليك وبنات عمك وبنات عماتك وبنات خالك وبنات خالاتك اللاتي هاجرن معك وامرأة مؤمنة إن وهبت نفسها للنبي إن أراد النبي أن يستنكحها خالصة لك من دون المؤمنين قد علمنا ما فرضنا عليهم في أزواجهم وما ملكت أيمانهم لكي لا يكون عليك حرج وكان الله غفورا رحيما. O you who is a prophet, surely we have made lawful for you your pairs, to those whom you gave their wages, and made lawful what your right possesses from what Allah has bestowed on you, and the daughters of your fathers, that is paternal uncle, and the daughters of your father's sisters, your paternal aunts, and the daughters of your mother's brothers, maternal uncle, and the daughters of your mother's sisters, that is maternal aunts, those who migrated in belief with you. These relations are lawful to the Prophet and lawful to us as well. You understand what I'm saying? This is lawful to the Prophet, these relations. It's very simple, these are the relations that are lawful. But they have to migrate in belief. I told you this whole lecture is based on belief. It says, Allati means plural, all these relations. Hajanna ma'ak. They migrated you in belief. These all relations. Then they are lawful. And whom your right hand possesses, they are lawful for the Prophet and for us also. If they did not be migrated, they are not lawful. Now this condition that I am going to read is only for the Prophet. وَامْرَأَةً مُؤْمِنَةً إِنْ وَهَبَتْ نَفْسَهَا لِلنَّبِيِّ إِنْ أَرَادَ النَّبِيُّ أَنْ يَسْتَنْكِحَهَا. This little portion I am reading. And a believing wife, woman, if she granted her soul self-psyche for the Prophet, and if the Prophet intends to seek marriage with her, this is exclusively for you beside other believers. This little portion I am going to explain to you, not in detail, but just try to emphasize. Wamratun. You know this word imrat, is used in the Quran except for two places, 2 or 3 places, mostly for wives. Imrat Lut, Imrat Nuh, Imrat Fir'aun, Imrat Imran. Okay? So this is generally used in the Quran for wives, except for Malka Saba, and except for, I just now previously for the contract, 2 Imrat, and except for one place where Musa Salam went there, the 2 sisters were there as Maratan. But generally, in the whole Quran, mostly it is used for wives. So I have used this woman here, I've done woman, but basically it's Wamra'atam mu'mina means a believing wife or woman. Believing wife of a believer or a believing woman. If she granted her soul to the Prophet, that doesn't mean she is asking for marriage. She is granting her soul psyche to the Prophet for the cause of Allah. Like prophets had companions. They were on the same, not exactly the same, they followed him. They tried to practice in the letter. So they are known as ashaba. But if there is a woman dedicated herself for the Prophet, so granted her soul self for the Prophet, and if the Prophet intends to seek marriage with her, this is exclusively for you. Now why? Because in the Quran, Surah Ahzab 33:6, you write down, the pairs of the Prophet are the mothers. The Azwaj and Nabi are the mothers for the believers. You know this? The surah, you can write down this reference. I'm not going into detail, I'm just giving you the Ahzab, Surah Ahzab 33, 6 ayah. The pairs or the azwaj or the wives of the prophets are believers or are mothers for the believers. Our mothers, we respect and honor the wives of the prophet as our mothers. Okay? So now, what is exclusive for the prophet if a believing woman or a believing wife of a believer, both, she grants her soul to the prophet, said dedicate her life, all her life with the prophet for the cause. The prophet has the privilege, if he intends to marry her, he can get married to her. That means that person, believing man, has to divorce her. And the prophet will get married to this, because she will become mother to you. Now, it looks as if something is very unusual. Go back, when the rejecter migrated, that believing woman migrates, Allah breaks the marriage. And he asked the believing man to marry. Similarly, you believing woman and the prophet, there is a difference. So if she dedicates her soul to the prophets, and now you are just, she becomes unlawful because she becomes your mother. So that's in the Quran. I will deal this subject separately. It is detailed in the Quran. That is why I said this is exclusively for the prophet. Because messengers' wives and the prophet wives are mothers to the believers. Are mothers to the believers. They can never ever marry after they have gone married to the prophet. Except if they are not Imrat an-nur, Imrat al-Lut, if they are not pairs. They are wives, but they are not pairs. Like Imrat an-nur, Nuh al-Islam was a prophet, but he had a wife. Imrat, the word is used. Not a Zawj, Azwaj. Zawj and Azwaj is used for pairs. Wives and psyche same. But here, if this believing woman or believing wife dedicates her souls for the prophet, and if the prophet intends to marry, it's only for the exclusive for the prophet, he can do that, but not for the believers. As for the rejectors' wives are not lawful husbands to the believing woman if she migrates. The relationship of marriage or the fortifying is being Muslim woman is broken. And now this believing man test her, examine her, and he can get married. Similarly, the status improve of a believing woman, she has a pair with the prophet. That's not a love affair. Remember this. That's not like that. That was also not a love affair. This is not a love affair. This is seriousness, that she migrated in belief. So the rejected are not lawful husbands to the believing, migrating believing woman. Similarly, if the believing woman gone beyond you, the believing man, in relationship to that, then she has to divorce. This believing man has to divorce, and the husband, the prophet has to take for the wife. If he intends to, that verse says, if the prophet intends to seek marriage with her. That is exclusive for you. Besides the believers, without doubt, we know what we have ordained over them in their wives' pairs, in what their right possesses. So there is no difficulty over you, and Allah is forgiving, merciful. Meaning that the believers know this. Allah has already written in the ayahs, that is a separate topic. I will be delivering a talk or a lecture, what the Quran says about the pairs, Zawj, Azwaj, wives of the Prophet. Okay? In that I will explain in detail. So no question today on this subject. I will be delivering a full lecture describing what the Quran says about the Azwaj, pairs of the Prophet as mothers. What is their status and how they become that, they get their status.